Hello, everybody. My name is Joel Filderman, and welcome to the Dog Trainers Connection. I'm not a dog trainer, but these other people you see here are. We get together and we discuss a topic. We come up with some thoughts, some ideas, and sometimes some answers, but we always have an interesting discussion. And today, I'm going to just throw it out there, guys. I know there's a lot going on. I think maybe it would be a nice idea to talk about something other than what's going on out there right now, because, this is more about dog trainers and dog training. So anybody got any thoughts as to anything they want to discuss today or anything that's on their mind? Anything? Go ahead, Steve.
I just think it's, when we talk about the situation, of course, we can't avoid it.
Okay.
Maybe it's not so bad for the dogs. If you think, everybody's miserable. You can't go out, you can't do this, you can't do that. The only people I see, if I go out at all, are the people who are walking their dogs.
Yeah.
We haven't walked their dogs in 3 years, and now they're out with the dog and they're enjoying themselves. And the dog's like, yay, they're not going to friggin' work for a change, I think it's kind of nice for the dogs. How many people are taking fosters in now because they know they're locked down and they don't want to be by themselves? Who's better to hang out with than a dog, right? So, I mean, everybody's anxious about the situation. It's not really great, the big picture. But we're dog trainers, like you say, we're dog people. If you're looking from the perspective of, can a dog potentially now get a lot more attention, affection, maybe training? I mean, let's hope that our clients who have, at least in my clientele, have disappeared. I mean, disappeared like thin air. And I get it. But I know that they have issues. I know that a lot of people don't want to call up a dog trainer if they can't hire them. People sometimes feel funny about calling up and asking. Not everybody feels funny about calling up and asking. But some people do. They feel like they're calling, they want a service, and they're willing to pay for it, but they know they can't get you to come out. So it's the stuff you guys are doing with like online format that I think is our future if we're going to continue to help people and get paid for it, which is what we do for a living. So I guess we have one foot in front of the other, right? I mean, nobody's got a big plan here, but when I think about the dogs, I think, well, we're hanging with the dogs now. And if a lot of people who weren't are, and that's good for the dogs. So that's my pitch.
Okay. Anybody want to chime in on that? Helen?
Yes, I guess it is good for the dogs. I'm not so sure about my guys, though. One of my dogs is about 15 years old, 15 and a half. He's got some arthritis, and he's getting a couple of extra walks, and he's starting to be like, yeah, no thanks. Go to work, will you?
Practicing social distancing. It's not.
it's not just for humans.
He's always good at that. So, but I've been trying to do more mental stimulation with them, because just there's nothing else to do. Try and teach them a trick. Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
All right. Joyce, are you finding that you're not getting, I mean, obviously you're not getting anybody coming but are you finding that there aren't as many dogs that are sheltered and things like that by you? How is this all affecting you? How is this all affecting your rescue and all the other things that go along with that?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. One day my business plummeted 90%.
Wow.
One day we had it, next day cancellations galore, done, gone.
Wow.
So it's painful in that respect. But we have seen volunteers stepping up, bringing their, that we can send dogs out. We have a system of sanitization and keeping social distance where we can still get the dogs out by putting them in a pen outside, and the people pick them up. We sanitize all the equipment. Anyway, they get to take the dogs for walks and do what they do. And then when they come back, we re-sanitize everything and get the dogs ourselves and bring them in. So the volunteers are going great. I mean, people are coming and walking dogs and, having a blast, taking them on weekends for, little sleepovers. So we're seeing some increase in that side of things. But on everything else, it's just kind of, it's kind of devastating. And on the training side, I'm trying to be creative. That's why I want to get on the Zoom platform so I can start to do more virtual training. My concern is that people are going to, they have this time to spend with their dogs and do this training, and I hate to waste it. It's like, I really want to get in there and tell people this is a great time. You've got 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever, call your training professional and talk to them on the phone or get them on the video chat or whatever, and do some training with your dog, because you're never going to have a more perfect time to spend that time. And, so I'm really trying to get that message out to as many of my clients as we can. So we're trying to provide as many opportunities. We're marketing a trick training program. So for the kids, they really enjoy teaching the dogs tricks. So, they can, log in and get 15 different videos of different tricks that they can teach.
Nice.
We're trying to, like I said, do the video training, just anything we can to keep people involved with their dogs in things. The walks are great, but what can you do on your walks to, help your dogs learn something new? Do you have a reactive dog? What are some things you can do on, with social distancing, which is a great thing for reactive dogs? Can you practice emergency turns? Can you practice, throwing treats at other dogs if they're coming at you and you zoom away the other direction? There's just a million different things that you can, we can teach people through video and through phone calls that we don't need to be in person for. So it's just getting the people engaged. And I thought, okay, well, the first week, everybody's just shell shocked. My God, my life has changed 3 million %. I got all these kids at home. What do we do? And so I'm hoping we're now in our second week, we'll start to see some leveling out of that. And then maybe in the third week, people will start to be more proactive and taking action on calling and emailing and saying, hey, we'd like to do something with this. So, those are just some of the things we're doing. And in the meantime, of course, we're advocating foster, keep these, you can't go to shelters anymore. They're closed, but some of the private rescues and, places like mine, we've come up with solutions where you can still interact with the dogs without having to interact with the people. And I know there is some concern about passing it on their fur, but, we've been pretty good. We haven't had any breakouts yet using kennel sol diluted to wipe the dogs down and to dunk their leashes and stuff. So we're feeling pretty good about that process. But yeah, that's it.
Well, Joyce, if you wanted to, we would be glad to host a session with you and do a Zoom recording. I know you're going to be learning it yourself to do, but if you wanted to get that information out there, and we could post it on YouTube and Facebook, etc., just let us know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because it sounds like you've been creative and worked out a plan so that the dogs get fostered and get walked and doing it safely.
So safe as possible, I think.
Sure, I know.
Yeah, nothing's guaranteed, but
no, and I think like you said, the uncertainty of how everything's playing out with people and being shell-shocked that our lives have changed so drastically. It's one step at a time to figure out, okay, what do I do next? And I mean, trainers are because Joel and I are training individuals on the Zoom platform, we're seeing so much creativity with what trainers are planning to do. They may not have done it yet, and I think that's okay. It's like we all can't say, I got to know this and do this right away and jump on. It does take a little bit of practice, but your clients are going to be understanding if, you know, there's a little fumfering, or you can't hear them or they can't hear you. Everybody understands that. And I do think that we're just seeing trainers being really creative. One of the people we trained is doing a muzzle desensitization class.
Great.
And with demonstrating with her 2 dogs, and then the people are there and they're working with the basket muzzle and she's training them. And I may have said this before, but one guy who was in his car and his wife was driving, but he wanted to talk to her during the class. He joined in on his phone. So and doing what else do we hear? Just a lot of creative ways of giving classes. Like once you're on it, you can say, oh yeah, I can show this video and then I can talk to them. Or I can demonstrate with my own dog, turn my laptop or piece, you know, monitor to the floor, show them me doing it with my dog, and then come back and watch them doing it. And it really, and so much, as you know, with us with dog training, is just talking to the owner. And I think, you know, my suggestion for dog trainers is to just get on Zoom and try it, or another platform. There are others. And like Joyce was saying, hopefully that your clients will come around that, oh, yes, I do want to still work with this dog trainer. And they really helped me, and I liked working with them. So now that things have settled down and I know I'm going to definitely be home for a few weeks, the client may get more comfortable with agreeing to it. And I think everybody should send their clients emails saying, I'm going to be getting online, and stay tuned. You know, I'm going to send you the link or the announcement soon. And I still can work with you, and we can do a lot of great stuff together online. And just let them know in advance that you're going to be reaching out to them for that.
Yeah, that's what I want to start doing is learning. I know we took the class. I took the class with you and Joel, and I got to get back into that because I think it's a great opportunity right now. And then even once we get through this whole epidemic, you know, this coronavirus, it would be nice, you know, just as an example as to what this is doing. A friend of mine called me a couple of days ago. He'd got a dog in the shelter like 7 months ago. Everything was fine, house trained, everything, going on the wee pads and so forth. And he said, my dog just started recently going to the bathroom. And after asking him some questions, making sure it's not a medical issue, I asked him, I said, and I kind of had an idea what his answer was going to be. And sure enough, it was. I said, well, when did it start happening? He said, oh, maybe about a week and a half ago. I said, okay, that kind of makes sense. Because I said, even though this has been going on for a month, month and a half, whatever it is, it's probably really ramped up in the New York City area anyway in the last week, week and a half. And he and his wife are now starting to work from home. So even though that can be a good thing because you're home with the dog's happy, you're home, you're not always at work all the time, it's that change in the environment, you know? And maybe also when he goes to walk the dog, there's not as many people in the city. So that just the quietness, not the noise, you know? So even though noise might be like, hey, it's annoying, it's just something that's different to the dog, just different to us. It's they pick these things up. So I'm thinking that's what it could be. You know, so I told us to kind of go back to basic obedience basic house training and kind of go from there. So it can kind of be a double-edged sword depending upon how you look at it. So, and I think this is a good opportunity too for, you know, like in my neighborhood anyway, it's very quiet now. So yes, there are, like Steve was saying, a lot more people walking their dogs, but by the same token, there's a lot less traffic by car, a lot less noise. So even though there's dogs, there's not, there's dogs that bark at other dogs, or dogs bark at whatever that goes by, but it's just a lot quieter. So if you're trying to desensitize a dog to going out that might be afraid of going out or whatever, depending upon the situation, it might be a little easier process to do that, you know, and getting to, like, you know, fostering and so forth. I'm sure you heard about it. Like a lot of the shelters are getting, you know, overwhelmed because some of the people that are losing their jobs, whatever, they can't afford whatever. And unfortunately, it shouldn't be this way. They're relinquishing their dog that they've owned for X amount of time to the shelter, and then they need fosters. So, which I think is a great thing to have. And so the dog is hopefully getting some good quality time with at least somebody that cares, you know. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta eat.
What's
Yeah.
Gotta eat.
Gotta eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be able to feed yourself, right? I mean, the people that take in dogs at a time like this, I mean, everybody, it's the same for most people. So it's the people who've taken dogs now are really heroes, right? Because they're going to have the same issues, right? They
Sure.
got to feed themselves, their families, their dogs, and you're taking in more dogs. Or if you didn't have a dog and you're taking that responsibility now, you're a hero. I mean, you know, it says a lot about people who do stuff like that at a time like this. The people who relinquish, on the other hand, I don't have a whole lot of heart for them, but I mean, I do understand. You got to eat. So it's a crazy situation. You know, I think that this Zoom thing, when you said, Bon, about that, you know, send the clients the emails, I'm thinking, send your referrers an email saying that you're doing that Zoom thing and that you're not out and for the count, that you will be working in this way, and let the referring, like, well, in my case, it's usually veterinarians.
I was going to say, yeah, vets and things like that, right?
And, you know, because your clients are your clients, you know, they kind of know you. It's like, kind of want everybody to kind of know that, whether it's now or in the future, that you are available more than just making a house call. You can be kind of flexible when you're doing it online. You can do it evening. You might be able to stretch your hours in different ways, and I think there's a lot of positive stuff that'll come from this. And I feel bad for, like, Joyce. You know, I got friends who board dogs in their house, and they make X number of dollars a day per dog, and some of them pay their rent or mortgage that way.
Sure.
And one of my friends was expecting 6 one day, 6. They all canceled. And
Wow.
from that point on, the phone started ringing, and the futuristic ones are already canceling because nobody's going anywhere. And you had the book looking pretty good, right? The right number of dogs coming in, and all of a sudden it's like, right? I mean,
Well, and they want their deposits back too.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, they want the deposits back.
It's like pain on top of pain.
Wow.
But that's the other thing is these people that either lost their job or they feel like they're on the fence. If they go through Zoom or another platform similar to that, we can afford to drop our price to, I don't know if it's 10% less than we would normally charge or 20%. So we can offer it at a reduced rate basically. So it's a little bit easier on the pocketbook, so to speak, or the wallet, you know.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and you're right, Steve, about you know, not only you reaching out to clients that you have worked with or that you're in the process of working with until this happened, that you can contact veterinarians and other people who refer you, that you're now doing online training and can do list out the things you can work with the clients on and let them know, and then
that's a really good idea, actually.
Touch with you.
We gotta live. We have to eat too.
Yeah, because otherwise everyone's just gonna assume, well, do you know a dog trainer? Yeah, I know plenty of dog trainers, but who's training right now? No one's training. But if they realize they could put on Zoom or another platform, you know, maybe they don't realize that they've heard of it, but they can't, you know, vision it being that you can actually train a dog through that or something to that effect.
Right. And in our training, shameless plugs for our training, we are going to be showing a few videos of actual online training, just so that you can conceptualize what it might look like and how it would be. So
I'm looking forward to it.
We're
here.
Me
too.
Yeah, we're looking forward to getting the YouTube forum trainers trained.
Well, with that, I got a quick question regarding that. So how would it be to transition? I have some ideas, but if you were to do it, it's one thing to do it in the person's house. So you're at your house, they're in their house, the client's in their own home. Now let's say, okay, we've kind of worked all this is great, but now we want to take it outside. You know, something I can think of is they would video it, and then you could take a look at video clips, you know, after the fact kind of thing, and say, well, that was good. I would adjust this way or that way, or you know, you wouldn't be able to do it live, I guess, basically. But
they can do it.
They can do it live.
Yeah,
they could.
they
I
could
guess
do it
they,
on a mobile phone. They could do it on a GoPro. They can do it on a
that's,
lot of different
okay.
things. Yeah.
Okay.
And somebody can, it probably would be easier if somebody was with them
Right.
to film it
Oh, all right.
and you would be watching it as it was
So
happening.
it could be live, right? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, okay. So
Well,
honestly, David, when you said about the transition, that was kind of what I was thinking about, but I was thinking about it in a different way. I was thinking about the fact that, okay, so right now, because of what's going on with this virus, everybody's online and stuff. So what happens when this is all over? Is being online going to be the way to go? Is
A
this
new revenue stream.
Is this speeding up the transfer from being live to being online, or is being live always going to be a part of dog training? And also, is this changing dog training as a whole? What Joyce was talking about the antiseptics and this and that, the other thing, is that going to be a continuing thing even after this thing is over? Are people going to be more aware of that, more aware of the safety things, and more safety conscious when it comes to that kind of stuff? It's easy to say, okay, this is over, let's just go back to doing what we did. Is that what dog trainers are going to do? Or
Yes.
do you think that things are going
That's
to change?
American.
Okay.
It's what we do. We have short-term memories. So
Yeah.
when we get back out there, life will go back to normal. I mean, we may have a new revenue stream, which would be awesome to now have, Zoom training. And the thing that facilitated it was COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll take it if it's a new revenue stream that, we can do to fill in areas we didn't have revenue before.
Okay. Does anybody feel other than that? Does anybody feel like this is going to change dog training?
well, I just wanted to say that I think once you do it as a dog trainer and you have success with somebody on Zoom or on any other online remote training platform, that you're going to be surprised at how effective you can be, how much you can see the dog, and from your years of experience, guide them and help them, that you may be doing it more online than you think. That's just a
Helen's
thought.
not sold.
You're not sold.
No,
Okay.
no, Helen. Why no?
Helen, not either.
People
Okay.
can't even take a straight selfie. They're going to hold a camera on their dog. No.
Okay. Well, there is truth to that. Yeah.
I have asked people repeatedly to send me videos when they have a behavior that arises that they're uncertain about or they want me to see.
Right.
Because when I go see clients, particularly with aggression cases, the first thing I tell them is, don't elicit the behavior. I don't need you to do something to make the dog growl at you or whatever the case may be. I don't want to, further encourage the dog to engage in the behavior we want to change. So I don't let them, they're like, oh, let me show you. No, I don't want to see the behavior because I don't want the dog engaging in it. However, the behavior will occur spontaneously, and when it does, if everyone's got their cell phones handy, I tell them to video it.
Mm-hmm.
And either they don't, or I get the worst looking video ever. I can't see anything. The dog is half out of the shot, It's just so I'm sorry, I don't see it. I mean, if forced to, there are certain circumstances where I think it will be useful, but for the most part, short memories, just like Joyce said. When things settle down, everything, behavioral drift, we're all going to go back to our old patterns.
Hope you're right.
Me too. For me, there's nothing like hands-on.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know about this thing going, the idea of that, it's just going to go away the way it came, may be like very optimistic. I'm not quite sure that it's going to be quite that simple. Viruses, it's like no joke. So until such time that people really feel safe, I don't really want to go out there. I mean, I went out during, sort of knowing what's going on. I've made a couple of visits over the last couple of weeks. And I remember like looking at my wife saying, you know, I'm going to work now. You know, for a few $100s, I'm risking my life right now. And she said, maybe you should stay home. And I'm like, it's, you know, as the phone wasn't ringing much then, it's not ringing much at all now. So we got to make a living somehow. And I'm feeling like this like internet thing seems to me to be like a big piece of the future. And until such time as like people are comfortable enough to hire us and we're comfortable enough to go. I mean, in New York here, it's kind of bad right now. I mean, I guess depending on where you are in the United States, you may be living in a community where it's not nearly as risky to be performing as a dog trainer. But here in New York right now, we're not in good shape. I mean, every day, you know, another couple hundred people are dead. So it's really on the rise. Rather, it's not plateauing in the way that, it depends who you watch on TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also they keep advertising the numbers are doubling, tripling every day. But here's the problem. These are not new numbers. All these people were sick yesterday and the day before and the day before. It's just that we're testing more. So of course the numbers are going up. They're doing tons and tons and tons of testing. So it's making people think, oh, there's 1,000 new cases. No, those 1,000 people were sick yesterday and the day before and the day before that. It's not 1,000 new cases. It's 1,000 confirmed cases.
Well,
Yeah, because if you look at those lines, they show like at New Jersey, they had those lines. There must be like 1,000 people in line all in one shot, you know, and they're,
Yeah.
you know, in 2 or 3 hours, they're doing it all taken care of, whatever it is.
And
So-
many of them pull through because
Yeah, those are the numbers they're not advertising. They keep advertising the number of cases
and
going
the deaths.
up and the number of deaths. How
Yeah,
about all the people who got over it?
Yeah, about 20% are getting it, and then it's a certain percentage that are actually like ending up in the hospital out of that 20% thereabouts.
I know it's serious, and I know that people are dying. People die from the flu all the time. I don't know that the numbers are, personally, this is my opinion, but I don't know that the numbers are accurate. We've got numerators, the deaths, but we don't have the denominators. So when they're saying, oh, it's 10 times more deadly than the flu, we don't know that because we don't have the right denominator. We don't know how many cases there are. The number of cases that actually exist or have existed could be 20 times what we know.
Sure.
So it's just, I think this alarmist attitude is, oh, don't get me started.
Yeah. Well, I think that that's a good place to stop. I think that, unfortunately, with everything that's going on in the world today, I guess this is the topic to discuss. It affects dog trainers too, and it will continue to affect dog trainers. I guess like everybody else, all we can do is hang on and wait and hope. With that, I'd like to thank you all for being here. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. And as we talked about a number of times through this episode, we are training dog trainers on Zoom. And if you are interested in learning that, please send us an email at info@dogtrainersconnection.com, and we'll be happy to arrange a time to train you. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot now. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.